The sun dipped low as the Buddha sat beneath the great banyan tree, surrounded by his disciples in silence. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, whispering a melody that seemed to echo impermanence and the passing of time. Ananda knelt before the Buddha, his face betraying unease. As he sought courage to speak his troubled heart, "Blessed One," Ananda began, his voice trembling, "your words guide us, yet the thought of your departure fills us with sorrow." The Buddha regarded Ananda with a serene expression, his gaze deep and calming, like the ocean after a storm. "Ananda, why do you cling to this transient form?" the Buddha said, his voice steady and clear as flowing water. "All compounded things are impermanent," the Buddha continued, his tone neither mournful nor harsh, but full of quiet truth. "Just as flowers bloom and wither, so too does this body," he said, gesturing gently to the world around. "Do you mourn the falling of autumn leaves?" he asked, his voice carrying a note of gentle inquiry. Ananda lowered his head, his thoughts swirling, as the Buddha's words painted vivid images in his mind. "Consider the river that flows," the Buddha said, his hand motioning toward a stream glistening in the fading sunlight. "Does it grieve when it becomes part of the vast ocean, losing its shape, yet remaining water?" he asked softly. A hush fell over the disciples, each pondering his question, their hearts torn between wisdom and attachment. "Attachment binds you to suffering," the Buddha declared, his voice resonating, steady as the roots of the great tree. "Let go, Ananda," he continued, "and find joy in the truth that cannot be destroyed nor taken away." The disciples listened intently, their eyes fixed upon the Buddha, whose presence was as still as a mountain lake. Ananda raised his head, his expression a mixture of anguish and awakening, wrestling between understanding and human frailty. "I fear the loss of your guidance, Blessed One," Ananda admitted, his voice barely above a whisper, yet heartfelt. "The guidance is not lost," the Buddha replied, his tone gentle yet certain. "For the Dhamma is always your refuge. The truth I have shared is unchanging," the Buddha continued. "Like the sky that remains, though clouds may obscure it. Do not cling to me," he said, his words flowing like a stream smoothing stones in its path. "In clinging, you look outward for what lies within you," the Buddha said, his eyes piercing yet compassionate. "I have merely shown you the way," he added, "but each step must be taken by your own resolve." Ananda felt his heart stir, as if a door had opened to a room he long feared to enter. "Seek no external refuge," the Buddha said, his words imprinting themselves like carvings into the bark of a tree. "Be a lamp unto yourselves," he declared, his voice gaining the strength of a rising tide. "Firm yet peaceful. Light your path with wisdom and compassion," the Buddha continued, his words like seeds carried by the wind, through the Dhamma. "My presence will never fade," he said, for truth is not confined to a single being. The silence among the disciples grew deeper, the weight of his teachings settling into their hearts like soft rain. Ananda lowered his gaze once more, his tears not of despair, but of profound understanding and reverence for his teacher. The Buddha rested his hand on Ananda's shoulder, his touch light as a feather, yet grounding as the earth itself. "Do not fear change, Ananda," he said softly, "for within it lies the essence of all existence, the rhythm of life." The sun slipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of crimson and gold. As if nature listened and wept, the disciples sat in quiet reflection, their grief tempered by the Buddha's wisdom, their understanding deepened by his unwavering serenity. "Truth is not born nor does it perish," the Buddha said finally, his voice as steady as the evening star. "Cling not to the fleeting, but embrace the eternal within you," he concluded, his words the last note of a song. The banyan tree stood tall, its branches outstretched, a living witness to the teaching's resonance in the hearts of the gathered. The night wrapped the grove in darkness, yet the disciples felt a light kindled within, eternal and undiminished. Another day, another village. As the Buddha walked slowly through its pathways, his steps light yet purposeful, his aura radiant, the villagers gathered, carrying offerings of rice and fruit, their faces lighting up upon seeing the Blessed One among them. Thus, the Buddha's teachings spread among them, like petals borne by winds toward distant lands unknown. Each carried lessons of release, resilience, and renewal, planting compassion within their hearts and the hearts of others. How shall we honor you when you are no longer among us? The elder asked, his words trembling like autumn leaves. The Buddha accepted the bowl with quiet gratitude, his gaze warm yet piercing, as if seeing into the man's heart. Do not seek to honor me as a man, the Buddha replied, his voice steady as the roots of mountains. Honor the truth I have discovered, he said. For the Dhamma is not bound by this transient vessel you see. The villagers listened intently, their murmurs falling silent, as if the world paused to hear the Buddha's profound words. Clinging to my form is like grasping at the smoke of a fire, the Buddha continued, his tone calm and instructive. Seek instead the flame that burns bright and steady, he added, his words filling the air like the morning mist. Within each of you lies the capacity to awaken, the Buddha said, his voice carrying an unwavering certainty. The path to liberation does not reside in another, but in your efforts to understand and transcend suffering, he explained. A young woman holding her child approached, her face marked by both devotion and fear. As she knelt before the Buddha, Blessed One, she began, her voice cracking, how shall I teach this child to walk the path you have illuminated? The Buddha looked at the child, his expression gentle yet profound, his presence like the soft glow of a lantern. Teach him to see clearly, the Buddha replied, to understand the impermanence of life and the nature of all things. Guide him with kindness and wisdom, he continued, but let him discover the truth for himself, through his own experience. Do not seek to shield him from the storms of life, the Buddha said, his voice steady as a flowing river. Through facing the storm, he will learn to navigate, to find the calm within the chaos, he explained with quiet conviction. The woman nodded, her tears a mixture of sorrow and gratitude, as the Buddha's words settled deep within her heart. As twilight descended, the Buddha spoke to his disciples, gathered under a canopy of trees, their faces lit by the setting sun. My time here grows short, the Buddha said, his voice unwavering, yet the Dhamma remains eternal, a light guiding countless generations. Do not mourn my passing, he continued, for mourning clouds the mind and binds the heart to sorrow. Instead, celebrate the truth that I have shared with you, he added, for truth is the refuge that cannot falter. The disciples sat in silence, their hearts heavy yet open, their minds striving to grasp the depth of his teachings. Be a lamp unto yourselves, the Buddha declared, his voice rising like a tide. Seek no refuge outside of your own effort. Through wisdom and compassion, you will walk the path of liberation, he said, his words planting seeds within fertile minds. The journey is yours to take, he added, and the truth is yours to discover and embody. The moon rose, casting a soft light over the grove. As the Buddha's words lingered like the scent of blooming flowers, a young disciple, trembling with emotion, finally spoke, his voice barely audible. Blessed One, how shall we preserve your teachings? The Buddha's eyes turned toward him, his gaze steady as the stars, his expression neither sorrowful nor sentimental. Preserve the teachings not in monuments nor books, the Buddha replied, but in your thoughts, words, and actions. Let the Dhamma live through you, he continued, like the wind that moves unseen, yet touches everything it passes. as long as you embody the truth. My teachings will endure, he added, not as relics, but as living wisdom. The disciples nodded, their minds reeling with the depth of his words, their hearts feeling both loss and indescribable peace. The night deepened, yet the grove seemed to shine brighter, as if the moon itself wished to honor the Buddha's presence. The Buddha rested quietly, his breath calm, his body frail yet unwavering, a testament to the serenity of his teachings. Remember, the Buddha said finally, his voice soft yet resolute, liberation lies not in clinging, but in letting go. In each of you is the seed of awakening, he said. Nurture it with truth, and it shall grow into wisdom. The grove fell silent once more, the disciples deep in meditation, their thoughts echoing the Buddha's timeless teachings. Even in the stillness, the words of the Blessed One resonated, like ripples spreading across the surface of a tranquil lake. The villagers and disciples carried the wisdom within them, a light in their hearts that would guide them long after his departure. Another day, another journey, as the Buddha rested beneath a grove of sal trees, his breath steady yet visibly waning. The trees stood tall, their blossoms falling softly, as if nature herself sought to embrace the Blessed One in farewell. The disciples encircled him, their faces filled with reverence and sorrow, their hearts yearning to preserve his wisdom forever. A young disciple named Rahula knelt before the Buddha, his hands trembling, his voice choked with emotion as he began to speak. Blessed One, Rahula said, his words laden with grief, your teachings have been our light, but the thought of losing you pains us. The Buddha gazed at Rahula with unwavering calm, his eyes serene, as though holding the vastness of the sky within them. Rahula, the Buddha began, his voice soft yet firm. This body you see is but a shell, subject to the law of impermanence. All things that arise must pass, he continued, his words flowing like a river, just as day follows night without fail. The truth I have shared with you does not die, the Buddha added, for it is not bound by the physical form. Rahula lowered his head, his tears falling freely, as the Buddha's words resonated deeply within his trembling heart. Do not mourn my departure, the Buddha said, his tone neither sorrowful nor indifferent, but carry forward the path I have shown. The Dhamma is your refuge, he continued, a guiding light that remains unshaken, even as this body returns to the earth. The disciples listened in solemn silence, their minds absorbing his teachings, their hearts grappling with the inevitability of the moment. An elder disciple, Kasyapa, raised his voice, his words steady yet filled with an unspoken urgency. Blessed One, what shall guide us? The Buddha turned to Kasyapa, his expression kind yet resolute, his presence filling the space with an inexplicable sense of peace. Let the Dhamma be your guide, the Buddha said, his voice steady as a mountain, for it is the eternal truth. Be vigilant in your practice, he added, and let your actions reflect the wisdom and compassion that the path demands. Do not seek refuge in me as a man, the Buddha continued, for the essence of my teachings resides within you. The disciples nodded, their eyes fixed on the Buddha, their hearts heavy yet buoyed by the clarity of his words. The evening light faded, and the grove grew quiet, save for the rustling of leaves swayed by a gentle breeze. The Buddha spoke again, his voice soft yet carrying the weight of immeasurable wisdom. Life and death are but two waves. They rise and fall upon the vast ocean of existence, he said. Their essence unchanged, their nature interconnected and infinite. A young girl from the village approached hesitantly, her small hands clutching a garland of flowers, her eyes wide with wonder. Blessed One, she asked timidly, how can someone as small as me walk the great path you have shown? The Buddha smiled gently, his gaze softening as he looked upon the child, his words carrying the warmth of sunlight. Little one, he began, Even the smallest stream can carve paths through the mightiest mountains. Given time and steady flow. The path is not measured by age or stature, he added, but by the sincerity and effort of one's heart. Walk with kindness. Seek wisdom, and you will see the truth, the Buddha said, his words planting seeds in the girl's mind. The child bowed deeply, her heart alight with newfound purpose. Her garland left at the Buddha's feet as a humble offering. The disciples watched in silence, their spirits lifted by the simplicity and universality of the Buddha's timeless teachings. The Buddha turned to them once more, his presence unwavering, his voice carrying the weight of his final teachings. Remember this, the Buddha said, his words clear and deliberate. All things arise and pass away. Strive with diligence in your practice. Be a lamp unto yourselves, he continued, and seek no external refuge. For the path to liberation lies within. Let go of clinging and aversion, he added, and see the world as it truly is, transient yet boundless in its essence. The night deepened, and the sal blossoms fell gently, like tears of the earth. As the disciples sat in meditative silence, the Buddha rested his hands upon his knees, his breath growing softer, his body showing signs of its nearing stillness. Do not fear, my beloved disciples, the Buddha said finally, his voice a whisper yet profound, for I am not leaving you. I am in the truth you have realized, the compassion you show, the wisdom that lights your path, he concluded. The grove grew silent, the disciples enveloped in the stillness of the moment, their hearts heavy yet strangely at peace. The Buddha closed his eyes, his breath becoming still, his body at rest, as he entered the boundless, infinite peace. The sal trees stood as silent witnesses, their blossoms blanketing the ground. As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, the disciples sat in meditation, their hearts filled with both loss and the enduring light of the Buddha's final teachings. In that moment, they understood though the Buddha's physical form had departed, his essence lived on, eternal and unbroken. The sun rose, casting its light upon the grove, as the disciples vowed to carry forward the path he had illuminated. The world turned, yet the truth of the Blessed One remained, a guide for countless generations seeking liberation and peace. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.